Namaste children. I welcome all of you for today's science session. Children, I'm sure by now most of you have already guessed the lesson which we are going to revise today just by looking at the front slide. Am I right? Were you able to take a guess? So what is the name of the chapter which we are going to discuss today? Yes children, it is safety habits. Alright, so come on, let's get started. Children, your parents, your grandparents at home and we teachers at school, we are always after you. We are always after you, asking you to be safe, right? Always asking you to be careful and urging you to follow certain safety measures, precautionary measures. Isn't that so? Now, why do you think we all, we do that all the time? That is because we care for you and we want you to be safe all the time. Right, children? So that is why we urge you to follow certain safety rules so that you don't get hurt while doing any of the activities. Alright? Now, children, what is the meaning? What is the meaning when I say safety or being safe? What do you understand when I say being safe? Is it that we have to lock ourselves up in a room, don't go anywhere, don't touch anything, in the fear that we might get hurt? Is that so? Or is it that we should be wearing a helmet and kneecaps all the time and other safety gears so that we don't get hurt? Is that so? Are we asking you to do that? No, absolutely not. That is not our intentions, right? We just want you all to follow certain safety rules while performing certain activities, while you do day-to-day activities. Right, children? So that is what we are going to discuss in this chapter. Okay? Now, children, from the time we wake up in the morning till the time we go to bed at night, we perform many different activities. We do a lot of different activities, right? It could be getting out of your bed, brushing your teeth, taking your showers, having your breakfast, helping your parents, taking care of your pets, and could be taking care of your siblings, playing, helping your parents, maybe cleaning your stuff, right, children? There are many different activities that you do daily, and all of these activities, all of this work which you do comes with a set of do's and don'ts. That means all of these activities have their own risks when it is not performed properly or when we don't follow certain rules which is associated with these activities. We are sure to hurt ourselves. Alright? So that is the reason why we should take all the necessary precautions and follow rules so that we are safe and we don't get hurt. Now, let us move on, discuss and revise some of the safety habits which we have to follow on a day-to-day basis so as to avoid accidents. Accidents can happen anywhere, anytime, and it comes without any warning. It happens without any warning, isn't it? So we all have to be prepared, meaning that whenever you are performing any activity, you have to follow all the precautionary measures or all the rules that comes associated with it. Alright? By making sure of this, you can avoid accidents, thereby preventing yourself from getting hurt. Okay, children? So let us discuss them one by one. First up, some safety habits to be followed when at home. Yeah? So children, should we be following rules even when we are at house? Isn't it the safest place for us? Yes, children. Of course, our home is safest of places for us, but here too we have to follow certain rules. Like I mentioned earlier, all the day-to-day activities which we perform, they come associated with certain risks, right? So we should make sure to follow certain safety habits so that we don't end up hurting ourselves, right? For this sake, we have to follow certain safety rules even when we are at our houses. Okay, now let us discuss some of such habits which we have to follow when at home. With respect to the electrical appliances, what could it be? There are many electrical appliances which you use in your houses, right? Now, as far as possible, stay away from them, children. Be it iron box or the electric fan, kettle, or toasters, oven. Stay away from all of this. And most importantly, children, when the electric point is not in use, make sure to turn them off, alright? And never ever insert your finger into the electrical sockets. You might have younger siblings, make sure that even though they don't end up inserting their tiny fingers into the sockets. Take care of them as well, children. Alright? Now, what are other things which we can follow? You might want to help your mother. You might want to help your parents in the kitchen. What you can do then? What are the safety measures which we can follow? In the kitchen, the first and foremost thing which we have to do is stay away from the gas stove. Alright? So, you might end up burning yourself. So, as far as possible, stay away from the gas stove, children. Also, there are many hot pots, be it cooker or the milk pot around. You have to maintain a safe distance from them as well. There are many sharp objects in our kitchen. The knives, scissors, forks and many more sharp objects, right? So while you are using them, take care or take precautionary measures, okay? Don't mess with them. Handle them carefully under the supervision of elders in the family, alright? So yes, these were some of the precautions that you can take in kitchen, yeah? Any other rules to be followed at home, children? Say for example, you go to the bathroom to take your shower. So there you should make sure that you don't leave any traces of soap behind. Okay, you have to clean up all the traces of soap. You know why? You might slip and fall, or anybody who enters next might fall due to the slippery nature of the traces of soap. So make sure to clean the traces of soap properly, right? Next is, you should not touch matchsticks. You should not light the matchsticks or candles. Chances are you might end up burning yourself. So make sure you don't touch them, children. Alright? And if you have pets in your house, do not ever tease them. Handle them properly. Take care of them, children. Otherwise, they might get irritated and they can bite you. Therefore, take care of them with love. Right? Children, next let us discuss some of the safety habits which we have to follow when at school. Of course, it is lockdown now and all the classes are being conducted virtually, right? But once we get back to school, we have to follow certain rules at school, in school, right? Much of your time apart from home, we spend much of our time in our schools and we do many activities in our schools, right? So accordingly, we have to follow certain safety habits in school as well. Okay, let us discuss some of them, children. Firstly, within the classroom, you should make sure that you have to follow all the classroom rules. That is, do not run around the classroom. Many of you keep doing that. Once the teacher goes out of the class, what is that you do? You get up from your place and you roam around, you run around. You should not do that, right? Also, some of you might even jump on the desks. Isn't it, children? Never ever do that as well. You climb on the chairs, climbing on the desk. You shouldn't do that. You might slip, or while climbing you might fall and hurt yourself, right? Never do that. And also it is not a good habit. Okay? Then any other things, children? While sharpening your pencil, make sure that you use sharpener and not blade or knife. With blade or knife, chances of getting cut is high. Therefore, use only sharpener. Right? I know all of you use sharpener, but yeah, even otherwise. Any other rules that comes to your mind? When we take you to the ground, what do we ask you to do? We ask you to form a line. We ask you not to crowd up near the railing, near the steps, right? And we also ask you to hold the railing while climbing up or climbing down the stairs. Am I right? So what is that you have to do? Near the steps, go slowly and do not push one another, children. Also, hold the railing for the support while you're climbing down or climbing up the stairs. Okay? Also, form a line and do not crowd. Alright? Any other thing that comes to your mind? Thinking about the school, or you have forgotten completely about the school? Okay, so these were some of the safety habits which we have to follow when in school, children. There are certain rules which have to be followed even while traveling in a bus. Most of you used to come to school through bus, right? You used to board bus to come to school. Am I right? There you were asked to follow certain set of rules, some set of rules by the driver or helpers, and of course by elders in the family. They always urge you to follow certain rules even while traveling in a bus. Now what are they? First and foremost, you have to follow a queue, right? While you're climbing or while you're getting down the bus, you have to make a queue and not rush, right? Not rush or crowd. The second most important thing is you should not lean out of the window, or you should not keep your hands out. That is very, very important, especially in a moving bus. Why I'm telling this? Because the vehicles, especially the large ones, if they're coming from behind, they might not know and they might end up hurting you while they're passing by. Yeah? So make sure that you will never lean out of the window of a moving bus. Alright? The next important rule which we have to follow is we should never talk to the driver while he is driving. Why? Because we might end up distracting him and that could result in an accident. Therefore, don't disturb him. Stay quiet. Alright? Also, children, there are two more important things. That is, you should never stand on the footboard. Footboard, you know, right? The steps in the bus. So, you should never ever stand there while the bus is moving. And lastly, never ever get down or get into a moving bus. If you have to get into a bus or if you have to get down from a bus, make sure that the bus is in halt. Okay? Only then you can get on or get out of the bus, children. Understood? These were some of the rules which you have to follow while you're traveling in a bus. Okay? I hope that is clear to you all. I hope you are able to recall. Yeah? When we go out on the streets, we see cars, buses and vehicles moving on the road. Isn't it, children? On the road, we are safe only when we follow traffic rules. So now, let us discuss some of the traffic rules which we have to follow for our safety. Alright? Children, firstly, if you are walking on the road, make sure that you take the footpath or the pedestrian path. Pedestrian meaning people who walk on road. Okay? They are called as pedestrians. Yes. While you are walking on the road, make sure that you take the footpath and you don't walk in the middle of the road. Alright? Also, wherever there is no footpath, you have to walk on one side of the road, facing the traffic. All right. So where there is no footpath, you have to be walking. You have to walk on one side of the road facing the traffic. Understood? Next is about crossing the road. Now children, if you have to cross the road while you're walking, if you have to cross the road, make sure that you always cross the road at the zebra crossing. Where do you cross the road? At the zebra crossing. The black and white stripes that you find on road, which is meant for the pedestrians to cross the road, is nothing but the zebra crossing. All right. So yes, even at the zebra crossing, you have to cross the road only when the light is green. Okay. For the zebra crossing also, you would have observed there is a traffic light there. Only when the pedestrian traffic light is green, you are supposed to cross even at the zebra crossing. Understood? Now what will you do when there is no zebra crossing and you have to cross the road? Not all the roads have the zebra crossing, right? What will you do then? You have to be even more cautious at these places. Okay, what you have to do? First, you have to look to your right and then carefully to your left, and once again to your right. Look for the vehicles, and only when you're sure that the road is clear, you can cross the road. Understood, children? So this is what you are supposed to do if there is no zebra crossing. Understood? Now, apart from these two things, that is walking in the footpath or crossing the road at the zebra crossing, you should also be aware of the traffic signs. Yeah, in between the roads, you find many traffic sign boards. Yes, you should know all of these sign boards and what does is that indicate, so that you can follow them. You can follow the traffic rules better. All right, children. So some of them you have learnt in your second grade, right? At the end, I'll ask you to identify those traffic signs. Okay. So you should be very well educated about the traffic signs, at least some of the basic traffic signs. Right, children? All right then. Moving on to the last one. Yes, last but not the least, you love playing, right? When you're playing in the playground, make sure that you don't push one another. Also, don't play rough games, children. Yeah, and even for the sake of fun, don't push one another. Yes, children. So take care of all these things while you're playing, and most importantly, wait for your turn. If you are playing a swing, or if you are playing, a cricket and you want your turn at the batting, please wait for your turn and do not fight. Don't engage. Children, before we end today's session, I'm going to display some of the traffic signs on the screen here, and you have to take a guess of these signs. Okay, you have to identify the signs. All right, are you all ready? Shall we start? Right then, here comes the first one. Were you able to guess this sign? Yes, it is one way. Take a guess of the second sign, children. Horn prohibited. Correct. Where do you usually come across this sign? Near schools and hospitals. Mostly near schools and hospitals. Alright. The next one. Railway crossing. Right. Next one. Zebra crossing. I hope you are able to make out the difference between railway crossing and zebra crossing sign. Don't get confused between the two. Alright. Next. One way. Right, children, it is one way. Remember, it is one way. Here comes the next one. Can you identify this? It is stop. Alright. The sign indicates stop. You have to stop your vehicles there. Yeah? Any other sign? The last one. No pedestrian crossing. Okay, so sometimes you see this board, and if you see this board, you should not cross the road. Pedestrians, the people who choose to walk on road, yeah, they should not cross the road if you come across this sign. Alright children, fine then, let us end today's session here. I'll see you all in the next class. Okay, धन्यवाद children.